Davros, the 48th Big Finish Main Range Doctor Who release, first released in 2 parts on the 19th of September 2003 and written by Lance Parkin. There's also the second entry in the classic Villains trilogy that started with Omega, which I've already listened to and done a review of somewhere around here, and would continue with Master, which will be my next review. Now, the 6th Doctor, voiced once again by Colin Baker, gets called by a journalist named Willis, played by Eddie de Oliveira. Now, the reason why he gets called in is because of a man called Arnold Baines, voiced by Bernard Horsfall, who is the CEO of Trans-Allied Incorporated. And recently, on an unknown planet, he has recently closed all of the mines, even though the mines are supposed to be still fairly profitable. And the reason why he's done this is because he wants to kind of increase his hold over all of the businesses in Mutter's Spiral, a galaxy that's fairly close to the Milky Way, to which he is doing this along with the help of his wife, Lorraine Baines, voiced by Wendy Padbury. So while the Doctor works with Willis to try and figure out what's going on, they also end up meeting a Delta-grade technician named Kimberly Todd, voiced by Ruth Sillars. And ultimately what the Doctor discovers is that the Baines have kind of taken over a transport that was transporting the body of Davros. Davros, who's fairly close to death, and has actually been given kind of like a poison that he can choose to inject himself with at any time. Davros, voiced at this point in time by Terry Molloy, who had also previously portrayed Davros on television in Resurrection of the Daleks, Revelation of the Daleks, and Remembrance of the Daleks. Now, Arnold ultimately wants Davros' help so that he can kind of gain control over Mutter's Spiral, but Davros, as always, has plans of his own, and wants to effectively find a way to crash the intergalactic stock market so that he can gain control. It's up to the Doctor, Willis, and Kimberly to find a way to stop Davros and put a stop to his plans once and for all. Now, we also get a brief look into Davros' past, when he was previously a Khaled scientist, and working with another Khaled scientist named Shan, voiced by Katarina Olsen. Now, Olsen would also return to Big Finish in Doctor Who, voicing the Headhunter in the first series for the 8th Doctor Adventures, which I have actually done reviews for, and if I remember, I'll leave kind of maybe a few links to a few of the stories down below. But also, the other, of course, big return with this story is Wendy Padbury, who voices, in this case, Lorraine Baines. Now, while Lorraine Baines in this story is a completely new character, Wendy Padbury is no stranger to Doctor Who herself, having previously portrayed the second Doctor companion, Zoe Heriot, in the 1960s. Overall, with this story, I think keeping the Daleks out of it, I do agree, was probably a wise decision, because whenever Davros shows up, he can occasionally get overshadowed by his creations. I mean, the Daleks have become iconic, and so has Davros, but if you put Daleks and Davros in the same story, Davros does occasionally get shoved to the background. But this time, having no Daleks in this story at all, and actually having Davros, seeing the madness of him, it actually does work. I do actually like that. Now, the Doctor doesn't have a companion in this story per se, although he does inform us which one he's currently travelling with, as when at one point Arnold kind of asked, "Oh, is this your latest companion?" I was like, no, she's off attending a botany conference. So we can assume at this point in time he's travelling with Perry, because Perry is, of course, the botanist. And as I said, it is nice to have a story that plainly shows Davros. I mean, even hearing Davros laugh, it's unsettling. I mean, yes, he is an egotistical megalomaniac, but at the same time, just hearing his laugh and how kind of confident he is in his plans, it is unsettling, and you do feel legitimately scared of him. Also, it's revealed in his past flashbacks that Shan, the scientist he was working with, actually put forward a paper called the Dalek Solution, and while she just kind of meant it figuratively, figuratively, Davros ends up taking it very seriously, and that's ultimately the basis for him building the Daleks, that the Khaled people have to kind of mutate, have to advance in order to ultimately win the war. So, as I said with Omega, I don't know if Davros is the greatest story in Big Finish, but it's definitely worth a listen, and if you don't find yourself scared by it, then I don't know what story you were listening to. Anyway, have a listen to Davros yourself, make up your own mind about it. I'd love to know what you think down below. Alright, until next time, see ya.